So I think the wider question has to do with when we have tech and the world of tech interoperating with things like Python and things that I don't know anything about, but we need them to work together. And it seems like that notion of the ability for, well, let me put it this way. Let's suppose I'm JRandom user and I'm using an application on my computer that is not TechLive. It's not like raw Python. It's something else, but it uses these as tools. And I want to process a document that has requirements that would require packages to be brought in. Then that application that I don't know anything about, I don't know how it's implemented or anything, would nonetheless have coded into it the ability to access some kind of package manager that would work with tech the way it's packaged, that would work with Python the way it's packaged, and so on. That would seem to me to go some ways to making things more convenient for the end user.
It would if the world were benevolent, but the problem is any kind of automatic downloading has been exploited to the hilt by attackers all over the world. So
yeah, I take your caution,
with
Nelson.
TechLive, we give people a DVD and say everything on this DVD is on your system, and it won't be pulling things down dynamically unless you explicitly request it.
Okay. Well, it's certainly a concern.
It's a very big concern. Remember the recent SolarWinds incident where top-level security software got contaminated by attackers from a certain large country in Asia and Europe, and the impact has been enormous. Millions of machines have been impacted and possibly compromised.
Such concerns are always in my mind as well, Nelson. But I saw Jonathan trying to speak.
No, well, no, I just wanted to put my hand up. I've got some notes here that I think will help take things forward. So some of the things, perhaps the things that I've added rather than somebody else has said. Nice to have reproducibility of typesetting. So I write my document and I typeset it, and I want to be able to send it to somebody and says, here's my document. Nobody else has seen it before. And here's the resources you must obtain in order to typeset it. Here are the resources needed to typeset this document. Now, of course, there's a problem that you might have some malicious resources in there. You know, open this email and you'll discover the solution to Fermat's theorem or the Riemann hypothesis or something. And in fact, you'll just download a cryptocurrency miner or something worse. But reproducibility of typesetting is definitely something that is nice to have and one of the core values of tech. So it will be having such tools, even when the whole tool chain, even when part of the tool chain goes outside tech, is important. Reproducibility of calculation, reproducibility of typesetting, reproducibility of calculation is one of the crucial problems, I think, in computing. This next thing is Arthur. I'm going to reformulate, reconsider the role of physical media in distribution. We can reconsider the role of physical media in distribution. Then we've got package management tools, and we've got them, but sort of they're nice to have whether or not we've got them, and they sort of form, and these are both implicit and explicit. So MikTeX has a sort of implicit tool of you ask for a particular document, you ask for a particular style file, MikTeX stops for a moment, gets the thing, installs it, and then continues the typesetting run as if nothing had happened. And there's the problem there of third-party package repositories. So in Linux, you can say, I trust this individual's package repository, at least for this purpose, so I can get something from it. There's quite a lot of software that gets distributed in that way. Variant of this is what Arthur was talking about, convenient tools to get required resources from various repositories, e.g. the world of TeX and the world of Python, and perhaps the world of the R language. So one wants a sort of shared language, and that would be a language both for access and for listing requirements, so that you can say, this is what we need.
Jonathan, you earlier in the conversation before Philip joined us, you mentioned MikTeX and its ability to essentially temporarily halt the TeX engine so that a needed resource could be found, located. MikTeX is on Windows, right?
Yeah. And
it really does. I don't know what do you call it when you halt the executables fork and go off and do something behind its back to the file system.
You're basically suspending the program.
Yeah, suspending. Thank you. So would that be acceptable if that was the price one paid in order to have this sort of ease of use? That there would be some sort of shell that was going to suspend the execution, the way MikTeX has been described. That was.
Give you a look.
I'll just pose my question and then go on to my other point, and that is that the notion in LaTeX is that you can look at a limited portion of the document, the preamble, and find all of the use package and document class statements and figure out which document classes and packages are used. And if the document so desires, it can place within the use package statement a datetime stamp. It has to be later than this version of the package. So it is not a complete list because you can have one package calling another, of course. But that is the mechanism that's been put into LaTeX.
Yeah, you're right. LaTeX has that mechanism, and I've got mixed feelings about it, just as I've got mixed feelings about using Article 10, using Article 10 rather than Article 12 or whatever in the preamble. It seems to me that the preamble has got two functions. The one is to state this is the markup that's to be used. That makes it like a document type definition in HTML, XML. And then there is the processing to be applied. And I rather think that they're separate things. But that's a minor matter. If you don't like that, you can make it a convention that all your LaTeX documents come without a preamble, and that when you process the document, you look somewhere else for the preamble and insert, so to speak, insert it before execution. Your question about MikTeX MikTeX suspending TeX until it's downloaded a package, is that acceptable? I will give you the same answer that a lawyer will give you. It depends on the context. In other words, you have to have more information. You know, people go to a lawyer and say, here's my circumstances, will I win this case? And the lawyer will say, well, it depends, because I don't have enough information. And even if I had all the information, I don't know what judge I'll be getting. And I don't know whether we'll be heard in the morning or the afternoon. Apparently, the best time to be sentenced is in the morning, but in the afternoon, the judges get a bit grumpy. So that's... Oh, there was something I meant to say, which was about marketplaces, which is that LaTeX established a marketplace for style files. And I think that's a really, really important thing. Even though it led to competition and conflict within the marketplace, it led to interaction. What's the word? Conflict is a form of interaction. It's not necessarily a nice form of interaction, but it is a form of interaction. And if we can transform the if we can humanize and make the interaction wholesome, then in the end we sort of got somewhere.